You are about to receive messages that may be harmful to your mental state. Your sense of reality will be questioned. Your view on things will be altered. You are now part of the meta. The meta controls everything. The meta determines what will and will not happen. You are watching the Meta Show.
And it's fucked up. Unbelievable. Hold on a second. I had this right, and we're starting the show off all fucked up. This is frustrating. Here we go. To the correct show. Everything is fucked up. Nothing works. Everything is broken. This is fine. Welcome to the Meta Show, everybody. I'm Brisker Ball. The Matani is not here. I have some very bad news for everyone. He spun so hard during the last show, he flew out of his chair and hit the wall, and he can't do the show this week. So he's not with us. So instead, I had to get Merkelchen and Innominate and Mind1 to come on so Karma Fleet could take over the Meta Show today. And I would like to say, for the record, this is the first time in the history of EVE Online that we have Innominate live on camera for the masses. We made this happen just for you. Hi, everybody. How are you guys doing?
Yep.
Doing good.
Yep.
Nam, how's it feel to be on camera live, like actually here?
I don't know. You've been trying to get me to do it for a long time now. So
we finally got you to do it. And you got a green screen, and we're ready to go. This is great. So, all right. Why is everything on fire? Well, if you guys watch any of the other shows, if you watch Trash Talk Tuesday, or if you watched Open Comms last night and heard Billy and Redline and Blazing Bunny and the guys come on, this what we're sitting in is apparently the Imperium right now. Everything is dying. The entire world is on fire. We're all about to lose our space. We can't do anything about it. The world is a giant shit show. But this is fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry. We're going to be okay. Right? No. No, we're fine. Guys, this was a joke. We're having fun. Let's do the real show now. Here we go. And we're back to a bunch of completely broken shit because the buttons are not working the way that they're supposed to. Let me switch to the right one. Jesus Christ. All right. So, Mittens is not here. We don't have any standards anymore, so we're going to completely blow everything up. I was going to do a product placement later in the show for Elgato Stream Deck, but because it's fucked me twice today, I'm not going to do it anymore. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We are back. We are live. This is a Fireside edition of the Meta Show. Because Mittens is not available today, he is in the process of moving. We decided to do a Fireside show. So we have Merkelchen here, we've got Nom Nom, and we have everybody's favorite DJ from Karma Fleet, Mind1, because we like to get Mind on every single show we possibly can, because he's the man. So thanks you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, man.
What are you doing? What are we doing tonight on Saturday Night's Forum? Have you got anything lined up yet?
I mean, I usually go in blind and then just rage out and wreck shit. That's usually how I handle the situation.
That's never a bad thing. That's always a good thing. So.
Do you guys ever have to like pick up the pieces on Sunday? I find myself in that situation quite a bit where I come downstairs. Sometimes I don't even make it upstairs. I get halfway there and just fall asleep on a couch or something like that. And then other times I come down to like my desk in the basement on Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon, if I'm being honest here. And it's just like, there's a half a bag of Doritos on the floor. I've got 15 empty beer cans, and I'm trying to remember who was here helping me drink all of these. It's sort of like, I don't know, it's various stages of alarming every Sunday morning.
Yeah, I rarely, I never look forward to walking into my office on Sunday.
It's tough because what I tend to get on Sunday mornings is my wife will take a picture of all the beer bottles and bourbon bottles that are in my trash can in my office, and then try to shame me with them the next day to be like, "You had fun last night, didn't you, dear?" I'm like, "Yeah, thanks for taking the trash out." Because I don't want to have to do that.
I'm usually hiding things. Like I'll shove all the cans and bottles of liquor that are empty now in the trash, and then like take a napkin and put over the top. Like nobody's gonna look under there. It's gonna be fine.
It's funny that you should mention that. Back in my college days, when I was in a fraternity, we had this pledge that lived in the house where I lived, and he had like this very strong teetotaler type stance. And one time, sure as shit, and this obviously was not, this was my fraternity, I was the president, so we were not like that, but he was more than welcome to stay anyway. One time I caught him taking out the trash, and he was taking out a bag of trash that was almost completely empty, and in it was a literal milk carton, and somebody, I don't even remember what forensic detective was like, "We should go investigate the trash." But someone went into it and it was totally full of like wine coolers or something like that, and this mother effer was lying to us like all the time. I don't know, it was the weirdest thing ever. That's what it made me think of, like he was cleaning up his dirty diapers so we didn't find out.
Exactly right. This is where I threw all my sex toys I had to throw out. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, gentlemen, as you all know, in Nullsec, we have been engaged in a great war over the last 2 weeks. We have been accused, and I know you're not going to believe this. We have been accused by some people of spinning. I know, right? Us, the Meta Show, propaganda. That doesn't smell right. So this week we're going to give you the straight dope of what happened. And basically what happened this week was we had a couple of fights. We had a lot of shit posting on Reddit. We had a lot of groups going out and fighting and bringing giant fleets, and then other groups standing down. And we lost one iHub, I think. So there you go. I think that's the way the war has gone this week. Let me run down just basically to be fair to everybody. There's been a lot of skirmishing this week. In it, lost a major fight. I think it was Tuesday night. We lost about 40 carriers. The bad guys were able to get the drop on us in LTAC A. It was a good fight. I was not there. I caught the tail end of it because I'm not kidding. I took a nap and I missed the ping. So I guess that saved me a carrier, which is nice. But that was probably the biggest fight so far, at least cap-wise, of the war, and we came out on the losing side of that. So good job to Horde and good job to NC Dot and the rest. I think Test had 5 guys and interceptors there, but they took all the credit for it, as to be expected. And then, in addition to that, there was another big fight last night. I wish Asher was here so he could tell us the fun that happened last night. But to make a long story short, as I understand it, and if any of you guys were there, you can correct me on my facts if I'm wrong. This was an XZ-TAC. It was an iHub timer. Test was able to kill the iHub while Asher had Pro God Legend and a fleet completely trapped in a POS for 2 hours. And they sat there and bubbled the hell out of it and watched them and laughed at them and shit posted on Reddit. And then Pro God used the old, I'm going to change the password and pop everybody out of the POS trick, which I haven't seen in a while. That was kind of exciting. That was like old school, last war type stuff. And they were able to fly right out of there and get out. So the most important news last night was we lost an iHub in period basis, and Test was very, very good at running away, which I think was pretty funny. So and the fact that this morning on Reddit the biggest story was Pro God moonwalking out. That's great. I love it. Stories about guys running away. That's EVE Online. I mean, that's got to be the most fun part, right? Were either of you two there? Were any of you guys in that fight?
I was. Yeah. Listen.
Tell me, how did it feel to watch them get away last night, Mark?
Listen, I'm the realist here. I don't do spin very well. It's just not my style. We somehow managed to hit the trifecta of losing the objective, losing the ISK war, letting the fleet sneak away on us. So this was a colossal clusterfuck. You're going to have those once in a while. I guess If you have to have one, maybe get out of the way early and maybe have it over an objective that's not, it wasn't like the 1DQ iHub. So I'm always trying to look for the silver lining. That maybe is the silver lining. And my God, we lost, to add a fourth onto it. We lost the posting war on Reddit. I mean, it's over, Johnny. If you're reading this message, you're already dead, you know? So it is what it is.
I thought, look, it's fun. It was funny because last night we were on, on the Meta Show, and not Meta Show, on Open Comms, and I was laughing because I saw that we had PGL trapped and everything. And Billy came on the show for a little while, and then he left. And then the after show came at like 11:30 that night. The after show came on, and then all of a sudden, all of the NC and test guys that like to come on the show flooded into TeamSpeak and started talking. And I was like, all right, great. So what happened? Obviously you guys are here to gloat. So what happened? And Billy was very pleased that they were able to get out and everything kind of made me laugh. So anyway, so this week I have to say the war is going pretty well for the test guys, for Legacy and those guys. They're having fun. I think, frankly, if you look at the back and forth of the fights, it's been one day we do well, one day the next day they do well, and it's back and forth. We save the KVN gate at 1.111%. And then 2 days later they come back and ref it again, and then there's another fight. We lose a bunch of carriers, and next day they lose a bunch of Munins, and it's back and forth and back and forth. But that's war. This is war. This is the Sov war. It's a grind. It's a marathon. And everybody who thought that 2 weeks in we'd have any kind of an idea where we were going to be, they've never really done this, right? Nam, is this how things were last time? I mean, how's is this compared to?
You hit the key word there. I mean, this is a marathon,
right?
Like the winner here is not who wins the most fleet fights. It's not who wins the most objectives. The winner here is who stops fighting first.
Exactly.
It's that simple.
Do you remember how it went in the beginning of the casino war? Was it like this? Was it this slow? Or
no? It was. The casino war actually kicked off. Actually have nothing to do with Goon Swarm.
Right.
It was sort of poking at space monkeys who kind of immediately collapsed, and then that became the opening that caused everything to start to snowball.
We were losing space so fast that we had like a nosebleed. It was absolutely fucked up, and then it was unmitigated disaster. This invasion, in comparison, seems like it's in slow motion. I don't say that as some dispersion on the invaders or anything like that. This is a lot different situation. The borders are significantly more drawn down, and we have the benefit of having citadels this time. We also had that little thing last time around where super capitals had a major pass over right while this was going on, so our entire super cap fleet was full of old school drones and had like non-capital plates on them and shit like that, so they were totally useless at a time where I to be honest, I don't know if we would have used them anyway. We were in a pretty bad spot, sort of stuck in a corner, but it's a pretty different situation. You do have the same disparity of numbers. That's what I'm noticing as sort of a space administrator. I'm not much of an FC myself. I'm always paying attention.
Don't sell yourself short. We have a lot of fun with you on Saturday nights.
I know, it's true. I mean, I have done a fleet every single Saturday for the last 4.5 years, but I still don't consider myself an FC. So the numbers are really similar, though. We're looking. I saw a D-scan at some point the other day. There were 621 Munins in a system, and I was asking how many of those were ours, and I think 125 were. So no bueno. That is not a pathway to easy victory. You're just put in a situation where I think if you're us and you're doing it the way we're doing, you're trying to dig the moat as deep as possible. You're trying to build the walls as high as possible. And at the same time, you're trying to torch the crops behind enemy lines as much as you possibly can. And at that point, it's not really up to you. I know, you ever see like one of those movies where there's like a medieval battle going on and it's basically just both sides sprinting at each other as hard as they possibly can, and they just ram together. Battles didn't really look like that. There was a lot more like teasing it out in the beginning, where like people with long weapons would be poking at each other, trying to sort of create some dent in the enemy line. We're kind of at that part of this fight. We're being probed. We're doing some retrograde probing, and we'll see where it takes us.
Retrograde programming. Somebody needs to clip that, because I'm definitely going to see that in the morning. All right, so I'm looking at the map here and seeing exactly what has changed hands in a while. And if you think about it this way, this is a Sov war. Both sides have said they're not going to stop until the other side has lost all their space. So in reality, what that means is that PanFam has basically committed to clearing Init and friends out of Fountain, clearing us out of Fountain and out of Quirius. And then the same would be said for Test and Legacy and those guys. And I mean, basically the whole Blue Donut is going to clear Delve out. So far, it's been 2 weeks. We have seen a total of 5 iHubs change, five of them in Fountain. Only one of them in a system that is really, I would say, is really a key system that they can definitely use. We've seen 1 TCU in Quirius, our little friend, the Brave Toaster, that could. Somebody didn't get him the memo that nobody gives a shit about TCUs. They don't matter. They're just flags. And he should have been on the iHub. And then the iHub in period basis, the one in XZTAC, which is right on the border. The 5 in Fountain, ITAC C, that was Goons, went to NC Dot. MTAC K went from Goons to Horde. AC2 went from Init to Horde. PNQ went from Init to Horde. YRN it also went from Init to Horde. That's like the big one, because that's like right next door. That's within jump range of IGE, and they can probably get around the system better with that one. So that's like the only place where there's really been a whole hell of a lot of movement. But even then, it's 5 iHubs in a system with 20 or 30 of them minimum. I have to look at the number of planets or in systems in Fountain, but I don't have it off the top of my head. So anyway, we're not seeing a lot of progress. We're kind of just sitting here, and then there's the back and forth. We take out a fleet, they take out a fleet. Every day they're skirmishing, but we haven't seen the kind of knockdown, drag out battles that I think we're all looking for. There hasn't been a Titan fight yet. In fact, every Titan that has been lost was on the PanFam side, and they were all on move ops. I mean, 2 of those PanFam won't even claim were theirs, because they were former Init guys that had joined Horde and got caught moving. So they wanted to act like that those were our losses. No, they're in your alliance. But we've had back and forth. I mean, the same reffing of the same structures, the same reffing of the same jump bridges. Did you guys think the jump bridges were going to be as big a deal as they have been? Because that was the one thing I was surprised about. That seems to be like the main content driver during this war so far.
Less timers on those. It only makes sense. If you're going to hit a high power structure, you're going to be coming back several times. Jump bridge is something that a smaller group of people can fuck up, and it can really sort of create calamity. I've heard it on our side. It certainly happens on the other side as well. Say you've got a reinforcement fleet that's coming in. Suddenly the FC of that fleet may not have been keeping up really granularly with what's going on in the conflict, doesn't realize a jump gate has been reinforced. Now the reinforcements that were 90 seconds away are 300 seconds away, and that makes all the difference. It's kind of interesting though. I've been kind of watching the chat. We're lucky enough today to be joined what seems like by a significant number of folks who are not in the Imperium, and we're happy to have you, of course. But even if this is an existential threat to our coalition, our fellowship of friends, I don't think that anyone would trade it for anything. There are these doldrums in Eve where when you're in these big giant blocks, things can get kind of stale and dull. So if what it takes for everybody to go on lots of fleets and for lots of your old friends to come back to the game and lots of fun luminaries from EVE Online to all sort of coalesce in one place is an existential threat to your home, I'll take it, man. It's been a great time. Sometimes, when you're really engaging the Sov mechanics a lot, it's hard work, obviously, to keep up with, and it is for both sides. But I don't think anybody's not glad this is happening, regardless of what side you find yourself on.
For a while now, people have been clamoring for somebody else should start a war. It's
right. They want us. They want how much. And it should turn on goons. We should do that. right?
Somebody else should do the hard work of running a war. Not me. Like somebody else should go and create that content for me to go just whore on.
It's an awful lot of work too. That's the thing that I think that perhaps if you were on the outside looking in, you might be surprised that each alliance that's involved with a conflict has something between 10 and 100 leadership-ish people putting in full-time hours worth of work just to keep the ball rolling. And then the amount of money, that you have to churn through things like ship replacement, or I don't know if you guys have any doubloons in your pockets that you could spare. Things like that, it gets to be very, very costly and sort of difficult to keep the ball rolling. The whole break in it off, like let's put some pressure on it.
It's so adorable. It is so adorable.
It's the most telegraphed and predictable move imaginable, and we're all sitting here just going, okay, okay, cool.
It just makes me laugh because it's like, all right, first of all, and I said this last night, people didn't agree with me, but here's the deal. I don't care if we lose Fountain. I could give a shit. Frankly, I would rather live off somebody's couch and go fight every day like we used to do in it than have to do this now. I don't like having to control territory and that kind of stuff, but I don't think we're going to lose it because I think we can fight back and we're having a good time, and I like fighting. It's good. This is there is nothing more fun, at least as far as I'm concerned, after spending the last 3 years having to deploy every other month to get content, to be able to stay in my home system and just go fight somebody and then go home. I love it. It's great. Thank you, Horde. Thank you, NC Dot. Mm-hmm. Thank you, PanFam. Well, thank you, PL, all 6 of you, for coming out. It's great. We appreciate that you guys are here and fighting us. It's great. So, for us, I don't have a problem with it. I'm happy that the content's here. We don't have to go anywhere. It's great. It comes to our doorstep. Yes, it sucks when our U.S. time zone, which is not the strongest because we're an EU time zone alliance, gets blobbed by like 1,000 guys and we can only 400 or 500. Yeah, that sucks, but we're used to fighting. We're used to fighting outnumbered. We do it all the time. So, sometimes we'll be able to take the fight. Sometimes we can't. Sometimes you guys will come and help us, and sometimes we'll come help you. It depends, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the whole narrative that I see on Reddit, I just have to laugh about it, that goons are... And it's the meat shield for goons. You could just as easily say that PanFam is the meat shield for Test because there's 5 iHubs taken in Fountain and there's 1 in period basis, and that's it. And what's Test doing?
Kind of... Test pretty much needs PanFam to make this work. PanFam are the ones doing the heavy lifting. And Test are just kind of screwing around in period basis.
Right? So they're playing games at period basis, and they keep talking, we're doing a 2-pronged attack. Well, okay, but if you're going to do a 2-front war, more than one front has to actually fight at the same time, right? Because the whole idea is every time that these guys don't coordinate their attacks, and there's a timer in Fountain that there's not a period, I don't want to give them, an idea of what the hell to do, but it's like, okay, the whole idea of them fighting us was that we couldn't come down to help you. That hasn't stopped either of us from reinforcing each other when it's necessary. So in the end, okay. Mind, have you got to fight at all? Have you come out at all to any of the fun stuff yet?
Yeah, last night was the first night I got to join in a little scrimmage, and I had a blast. It's tough working and trying to get in these fights. You guys are all EUTZ, so it's hard for me to jump in. But yeah, last night was a blast. We killed quite a few people. The tie-dye was wonderful. I forgot about how glorious that was.
That's the worst part for us is I'm pretty sure that the node that Iridia and some of those Fountain systems on the edge of LoSec on is like the one that's still running Windows 95. It's always bad, and we get tie-dye with like 100 dudes jumping a gate down there.
Yeah.
And we don't know when the fights are going to be because it can be any time. And so we can't ask for reinforcement or anything. But man, some of those low sec shards just do not have a whole lot of power behind them. So we get stuck in these tie-dye fights.
That's the one that's lost under somebody's desk that's been running for 10 years and nobody knows what it's actually there for.
Exactly. I thought this was a model.
There was quite a few people on grid last night. It was like there was like 1,000 people on grid last night for that fight, and it was I showed up, I died, I came back, and we killed a bunch of people. It was fun. I had a blast.
And that's all that counts. I mean, look, at the end, somebody said it in chat, the real winner of this war so far has been CCP, and that's true. You know, everybody is engaged. We're all out here fighting. We've got every week on Meta Show, we've had 800 plus, 1,500, 2,000 people watching the show. They all want to see what we're going to say next. They all want to see what's going to happen next time, and it's fun. There you go. Hi, honey. Hi, honey.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay that we do lots of fun stuff with the green screen. I'm proud. I have to say, I'm proud of you, Merc, because I told you, you even knew that today was the laid back Fireside Meta Show, and you still dressed up because you're the man.
If you could see me from the waist down, it's
no
breathtaking.
pants.
I walk through my house.
I feel like Merc sleeps in a coat and a tie. It's like every time I've ever seen him, that's what he's got on.
There you go.
I have worked for the man for a very long time, so my stable of suits is pretty strong. It's only in the last couple years that I was no longer servile to corporate America, and I was able to sort of set the terms of my uniform for my employment. Let me ask you a question. I want to turn this around just for a second. So you're in a situation now where the war's been grinding on, I think, for 2 weeks. I saw ProGod, we're rebooting it. Hey, phase 2, it's phase 2. We're ready for phase 2. I'm ready for phase 2. I hope everybody's ready for it. Whatever that would mean. But has there been sort of any marquee event yet, or are we still at that part where the armies are feeling each other out? Because I feel like we're still there. 2 weeks is a really long time, but it seems like this war is glacial, and that's certainly not a fault of either side. I think it's just a byproduct of the mechanics that you're working with in Eve. You know, you're often beholden to what the game gives you as far as how you can engage, how things work, etc. And we're sort of still at that part where we're like, I like you, do you like me? You know, check yes, if so, or, you know, like it's just feeling things out still.
I think we're in a place now where we're kind of trying to figure out what war in Eve actually means at this point. Like it used to be a matter of war meant taking someone's sov, kicking them out of their space, taking their outposts. Now, I mean, there's more citadels than can be reasonably blown up. TCUs literally don't matter. Even blowing up iHubs is just kind of annoying. Like there isn't a concrete way to take territory or take ground anymore. And so we're all sort of left figuring out, well, what does it mean to actually win this war?
Yeah, that's a good point, because in the end, I mean, look, the TCU is just a flag, so nobody cares. You know, it doesn't matter who's flying the flag. I mean, maybe there's a morale victory there to say, well, we took the flag down in your system and we stomped on it. You know, I think the Brave guys got a lot of credit when they did that in Fountain. That was their thing. But in the end, it didn't matter in terms of anything, you know, game-wise or war-wise. It wasn't a benefit to them directly. On the iHub side, all the iHub does, it lets you anchor stuff quicker, and the timers are different, so you know it's easier to put something in, and it's harder to stop somebody from putting something down. So that matters, and you can't, you know, if you don't have the iHub, then you can't put up Sino-jammers and stuff like that. So in the end, I mean, that's beneficial. But you're right. I mean, yeah, who controls the system if you've got two Fortizars, one on each side, you know, in that system? I mean, is that our space? Is it their space? I mean, in the end, is it? How do you make that decision? And how do you? I mean, do you have to clear every single structure out to say that that's now your space? Because if that's the truth, then this war is going to go until we're all 80.
I think that also answers the your earlier question. Why is there all the fighting around jump bridges? Because that really is one of the concrete things that you can do to disrupt the other side. That it can be accomplished in a reasonable amount of time. You know, it is a concrete victory. Like,
yep. And I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I love those fights because, you know, you can knock out the viability of that thing in one go, but they're easy enough that if you blow it up, it's still, as long as you control the system, control the iHub, you just drop another one. And as long as it anchors, then you're fine. It's what we did in D4KU. I mean, they've blown up that The bad guys have blown that one up at least once, and we put it right back, so it was easy. You know, but it still makes it harder, and it's still a pain in the ass. And for that couple, hours or day time period, yeah, you got to find a way to get around the systems that you otherwise would have jumped through pretty easily. So, I mean, it is a way to annoy people. And I think the other thing that I've been pleased to see is I think our guys, at least on the Goons in it side, on the Imperium side, we've been killing a hell of a lot of jump freighters in high sec, which makes me happy. The mini what's the group that does all that?
That's Mini Love.
Mini
Love. Mini True is
Mini True.
propaganda.
Yeah, I'm in Mini True. That we're the propaganda guys. Mini Love. They have been kicking ass up in high sec, and just the number of jump freighters that are dying is just it warms the cockles of my heart. I like it.
It really is impressive that every time CCP figures out a new way to kill high sec ganking, Mini Love figures out a new way to keep doing it anyways.
Exactly. So
it takes a ton of work though. We're all able to laugh at it, but it's an incredible amount of work to be able to pull that off now. So I respect the game. I don't have it in me to do it. I know every time we've ever gone into high sec, it's turned into a total clusterfuck. So I'm glad someone else gets it, because I don't.
Absolutely not something I want. The audience likes you today.
I see that. Yeah, I'm trying to chat as much as I can. Yeah,
that's good. And Merc, they all want to know what kind of headphones you have on.
I am wearing the Bose, whatever the hell they're called. I don't know. They're only like $400. It's not a big deal, people.
My son has a pair of those.
Yeah. God damn it! Why would you say that? It's like a 9-year-old. Yeah, real nice.
There you go.
That was a dirtball move.
Are those the ones?
Sorry, my friend.
Are those the ones you had to buy at the airport?
That is, yeah. There's nothing like going on an international adventure and your headphones breaking on the layover. That's no good. But you know what? We had already had like 6 beers, so I didn't flinch at the price. I was just like, we need it.
Boom,
gotta do it. Done.
Now, did you get those at a regular store in the airport, or did you get them out of one of the the Best Buy kiosks? Because I bought stuff out of those before.
Yeah, I got them from a very dicey-looking fellow who was wheeling them around the airport at the time. So I don't know. I'm sure they're legit. I mean, I didn't like.
I'm sure.
I probably financed like a couple AK-47s somewhere in the world when I bought these, but I try not to think about it.
So the chat is telling me that the D4KU iHub was reinforced. Great. Well, how many times has that happened so far? I mean, that's the thing that I think is funny. It's guys, like, you got to stop crowing about stuff till it happens, because all right, you refed something. Okay, great. You're gonna have to come back and actually finish it off. And half the time, what I've been seeing is you get somebody goes out, they ref a structure, they set up a timer, and they don't show for it, or it's a bad timer, it's a bad time zone, so they just wait and they do it again. I mean, I how many times has a TCAG stuff gotten refed so far? I mean, it's got to be every other day, right?
You're not it's not an accomplishment to reinforce anything.
Right.
If you go to try and reinforce something and you fail, that's notable.
I mean, that's the
first timer is so easy.
Right. Like the KVN jump gate. Some people were busting my nuts because I put that funny meme on Reddit about, oh, you almost had it. It's just a little quicker next time. But it's funny because those are so easy to do, and we saved it with 1% left, with a bunch of Titans lancing, which was hilarious. I mean, that's the first time anybody's really dropped supers in the war so far, and it was just funny. I thought it was hilarious, so it was fun to make fun of that. But I'll tell you the other thing. I don't know about you guys. I love Horde. I love Gobbins. He's my friend. But I'll tell you, some of these Horde guys, they are the saltiest winners I have ever seen. They're not happy when they win. They bitch, and they're still pissy in local when they're winning.
I wish he could do something about that. I wish he could show true leadership and teach his people how to win appropriately. Give me a break, man.
Come on, Alpha Star. Tell your people. Don't be so salty when you win.
Yeah.
It
You know
just
what?
makes me laugh.
I think as a leader person, you oftentimes have to fill the role of being the shoulder to cry on when things are not going well. But at the same time, I think when your crew is doing a decent enough job, maybe chill the fuck out for a minute, because it's going to be a long, long war.
Right.
This is where I feel like Mittens would say something about fucking them to death. So I'm going to insert that right now. Just know that it's coming for you. We're paying attention.
Test is next.
Yeah, you're all next.
Oh,
Hey,
man,
let me
I'll
ask you a
tell
question. Hey, speaking of,
Speaking of.
I figured I wanted to ask you something. I don't even know what got me thinking about this. My wife was telling a story a week or two ago of back when I was like doing WoW raiding, and this is a decade ago, and I was getting screamed at by a raid leader, and I had it on my speakers. I never did that again after that because she heard how I let people talk to me just because I wanted warglaves or whatever. So that to me was like an unbelievably cringy gaming moment. So I wanted to ask you guys, maybe think about it for a moment. Do you guys have one like Brisk? I know your lovely wife may say that you crashing a ship was a cringy gaming moment for yourself. You know, like what? Brisk, you first. Can you think of what was like a terrible and cringy gaming moment that happened to you? I'll answer while you're thinking about it. I sent in my first corporation that I was ever in, like in EVE Online. I lived in Providence at the time. I remember like I was so impressed with these dudes who looked like they knew what they were doing because I had been just bouncing around high sec totally cluelessly for a long time. So the first time you see any kind of organization, you're like, holy shit, these guys, I'm in the presence of elite gamers right now. So I remember I did like a gate camp with these guys. They showed some proficiency. I sent this dude like this flowery letter that was just me sort of falling over myself like, you are so good, may you please teach me the ways of how you camp the YTAC M gate in Providence. I need to know, you know. So that for me was a very, in retrospect, cringy moment. Briss, do you have one that maybe in your EVE career or something?
So, all right. So this is probably, I mean, besides the getting banned thing, because that's the obvious.
Oh my god, you know, good one. That's a good one.
Right. Besides the getting banned thing, because that's too easy. I think the cringiest moment I really had, and this was this, I still look back at myself like I'm a freaking idiot. And I think I've told the story on another show, but I'll tell it to you guys because it is kind of funny. I read one of I think it was Tony Gonzalez's Empyrean Age book, or one of the EVE fiction books. And I wanted to go see some of the sites in HiSec where, you know, all this stuff happened. It was right after I got elected to CSM. I want to say it was like March or June of 2018. So people knew who I was at that point, and I would, you know, I'd go through in an interceptor and people would wave hi Brisk at me and local and stuff like that. It was nice. So I go up to, I guess it was either ULI or one of those systems that's really like 1.0 high sec, super crazy, you know, high true sec in there with where they were going to keep it like a real like eye on you. And I went to go see some of the sites. So I was going to warp to one of these beacons and look at it and say, all right, take a little screenshot of me being there and everything. So I go in and I warp out there and I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden all of these faction police start spawning. And I'm like, I didn't attack anybody. There's nobody here. It's just me. And the fucking faction police blew me up. And I'm sitting there in my pod like, what the hell just happened? And then I realized I had like -5 sec status. And I was in a high sec 1.0 system, so the faction police killed me. And I had no idea. I was completely oblivious to this. So I have this kill mail of me getting killed by the faction police in an interceptor in this like high. Yeah, Daddy Deep sold me that crow, and I lost it in frickin' New Caldera or wherever. And I'm sitting there like, oh my god, how am I going to explain to people that I have no idea how the fuck HiSec works, and got blown up by the FACPO because I wasn't paying attention, just because I wanted to go sightsee because I read a stupid book.
I pour my heart and soul out, and you lose an interceptor.
But what do you want? I could talk about losing the Titan, the cringe. So there's another story. You know, I get into Titan. My wife lets me get a Titan for Father's Day. I had one already, but I wanted another one. I wanted one on Brisk. We had a new Shield Doctrine. I wanted to get one of the Titans for it. This was back in the days of, you know, get Shield Titans because we're gonna have an armored Shield Titan fleet that goes off one way, or we're gonna have a Shield Titan fleet that goes off another way. And then, so I got one. I fitted it out in 1DQ. I jumped it up the fountain. And we were dropping Titans a lot on, I don't remember, I guess it was, I can't remember who it was at this point. I want to say Gangbang Squad or somebody, but I can't remember who it was. But I remember waking up, it was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I came downstairs. I was going to work from home that day, and Pando starts screaming for Titans. So I log in both of my Titans. I log in my Minnow and my faxes, and I'm ready to go. And we mid, but I missed the mid with one of my faxes, so I just left it there. And I had Brisk and my other alt Wilsk, and they were in. And so we jump in, and then we get the call, we're going to jump the Titans in. And Pano says, all Titans go. And I just went and didn't realize I was like one of 2 shield rags on an armor fleet. So we get, of course, you know, I get primaried. It doesn't hurt that CSM dude is in there too, and a Titan on his main. And so they start coming after me. Yes, my wife let me deturk. She had to give me the approval to buy the Plex to buy the damn thing. So anyway, I jump it in, and we just melted. I melted. And the guys are like, Brisk, you really should start refitting to armor if you haven't done it already. I'm like, but I already doomsdayed somebody. I got a weapons timer. I can't refit anything. And so that was my Titan loss, and that was very cringy. And I wrote a funny thing for Reddit for it to commemorate that. But I lose ships all the time, so it's hard to say cringy stuff for losing ships. I mean, Pinecones kills my Widow, and then they kill my Draugr and my Phoenix and all the other kind of stuff. I lose stuff all the time.
That's how you crashed your ship. And right, honestly, I was gonna ask Mind1 and Innominate, but you have used double the time that I
well, we have time. We got 15 minutes. So, we can do whatever we want. Nom. What's your cringiest moment? Tell us.
No, you got to go to him last. Seriously.
All right, fine. Mine one. Cringiest Eve moment.
I actually have a pretty cringy moment. Most of my Eve career consists of ratting. It's just kind of what I do. And so I'm in an Ishtar that I've fitted to try and defend myself because I'm tired of running like a little bee. And actually, something Merc said. He was like, I don't run away. Like I fight, when I'm out. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to fight no matter what. So I'm in my Ishtar. I'm ratting away. I'm at work, by the way, also. Yeah. So I hear the alarms go off. I tab back into the game, and I've gotten dropped on by a Cinnaball. And it's a good fight, back and forth. I hit the ADC. I send the drones. He almost gets me. I'm overheating everything. I'm like feeling real proud of myself at this moment because I'm in it. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the thing, and it's going well. And I blow him up, and I'm super hyped about it. I can't scream and yell like I would at home because I'm at work at my desk. And so I start in chat, just typing, just all sorts of winter salt in the chat, get effed, get shit on, all the while not realizing that all of my stuff was still cycling overheated. And a couple of seconds later, I was killed by rats because everything had burnt out. And yeah.
Worth it. Totally worth it.
There you go.
You died,
hey, you won.
It
doesn't count if the NPCs kill you. It's
well,
fine.
then I get I go to Discord, and already my kill mail is in the Discord, and they're like, "What happened here?" Because they could see what I had just done, and it was super funny.
You're still a winner in my book, mine. Don't you worry.
I suck at Eve, man, but I can play some music,
We like it. Nah.
I would definitely have to say the whole Rayanar thing. That's where we blew up a blue Titan, accusing of being a spy, and that proved to not be the case. I think in retrospect, what was mostly terrible about it is that we had pretty sketchy information that he was a spy, and really we just wanted to shoot a blue too much. And like what's not really public about that whole thing is that when we did start talking about it in public, we had to go through this whole ridiculous parallel construction scheme because we couldn't admit publicly, or didn't want to admit publicly, that the intel we were actually acting on was a spy.
The spy threw you off and told you somebody else was a spy, and you blew somebody up.
Exactly. Yes.
There you go.
Our spy was wildly wrong, and we acted on intel that we shouldn't have just because we just wanted to shoot a blue.
How often does that happen? How often do you guys
we did
find
replace
that,
his Titan?
But how often does it happen where you figure out later that somebody you thought was a spy was not a spy? Does that happen a lot?
It's pretty unusual. Especially like that whole event is a big part of why I do what I do in the Imperium now, because I have been there and I've made my mistakes. I've learned my lessons, and so we make a lot fewer mistakes along those lines today.
Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have 10 minutes left. We wanted to do something different today. We wanted to do something fun on the show. And Mark and Nam and I were doing our production meeting, because when Mittens is not around, then we do the production meeting. And we thought it would be funny or fun if we were to do some product shilling for stuff that we like, that we want you guys to buy, because we enjoy it and we think you would enjoy it too. And we thought we would round out the show with some product placement type things. So I thought this was kind of amusing. And it's not MeUndies. I'm sorry, Sadis. I know you want us to do that, but no. So I thought I'd let Merk. Did you want to lead off with yours, and I'll put it up on the screen? We'll do our little fun thing at the end of the show.
I am more than happy to lead off with this one. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are on the top half of the planet Earth, it's summertime. It's hot as hell outside. You look like you need a refreshing beverage. Why not try a Kona Big Wave Ale? There it is. Boom. Golden Ale. It's a can full of aloha, right? Okay, so this is the thing. If you guys know me, if you've ever flown on my fleets, you know that Bud Light Lime was the currency that I traded in for a long time.
Years.
It was just my thing. Bud Light Lime was like Gatorade in the summertime for me. So Big Wave, we were at we were in Vegas at the Yard House or something like that. They didn't have Bud Light Lime. The guy was like, try one of these instead. I've probably drank like 75 12 packs of that since then. My local grocery store now carries it. They didn't before. So I highly recommend, if you're a beer snob, if you're not a beer snob, if you're the kind of person that loves like a stout or something super dark, this one's not going to be for you. If you're looking for something super refreshing, I hate to use the word like a Corona or a Land Shark, maybe something like that. This will be completely in your wheelhouse. Super, super good. And the beauty of it is, and I've proven this before myself, you can drink like 15 of these things and live to fight another day. So give it a try if you haven't. It's become sort of a Karma Fleet meme at this point. We take pictures of our big waves and sort of show them to each other. It sort of led to a big waveception on Discord the other day. I think Briss may have an image for that. Maybe
I don't have it ready to go, but
yeah,
we had 5 different people taking pictures of their big wave in front of the other people's pictures of their big wave.
I'm not surprised, frankly, that the picture isn't available. Sort of the IT side of this show has been a clusterfuck. So
today we have blown. I'm telling you, without Mittens here to tell me what to do, everything fell apart, fell to shit.
Yeah, I see DJN mentioning Spotted Cow. That's New Glarus, or however you produce it. The problem with Spotted Cow is that brewery does not like to make money, so they don't sell it anywhere outside of shit-kicking Wisconsin. So go ahead and import that to the rest of the free world. We would love to have some Spotted Cow, my man. But for now, Big Wave, Golden Ale. Give it a go.
All right, Nam, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I'm even going like the standing desks have become a thing. They're awesome. And there's one company called Autonomous that they build and sell them directly. and you can get a motorized standing desk for like $500. They are completely affordable. They're fucking fantastic. Like, it is great to, I work from home, so during the day when I'm working, I have my desk up, I'm standing, and when I'm done, I just push a button and I sit my ass down. Like, that's my work and home modes. This thing's fucking fantastic. Merk can speak for this. He owns one as well. I am definitely going to shill a referral link that anyone who's interested will actually get you a discount.
Nice.
When I bring people in and I'm like, step into my office, and I hit the button and my desk starts to lower and it's very like Bond villain. And then I sit down, I'm like, all right, so you're probably wondering why I brought you here. It's because I wanted you to see my desk move. It's very cool. So I totally get it.
All right, so mine is a little more Eve related. So if you know me, and if you have seen any pictures of my office besides, the ones, obviously you can't see it because of the green screen, I have spaceship models everywhere. I have them everywhere. I have an entire row of all the Starships Enterprise. I've got a bunch of other ones. I got Star Trek ones. I got all kinds of stuff. I want more Eve ones. And I had been bitching. I bitched on CSM 13 about why can't we get ship models. I bitched constantly every time anybody would listen to me that that CCP was leaving money on the table by not getting us ship models. And they finally cut a deal with a great company called Mixed Dimensions that is doing a ton of Eve ships. And they're all relatively inexpensive. And when I say inexpensive, I'm talking like I have a wooden ship model in my office that my cat keeps trying to eat that was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And these ship models, they start at like $60. And the most expensive one is $99.99. And I think they're great. They've just announced the Rifter is out. They've got the Naga, they've got Taluses, they've got Magnates, they've got Tornadoes. There's other ones. There's an Oracle that's not on the screen there. And
I have the Oracle.
Nam's got the Oracle. I've got my Talos right here because we used to fly this in our heavy snatch fleets, and I love the Talos. I don't get to fly it nearly as much, but it is pretty cool, and I love the detail. This thing, and not only that, it looks good and it's solid because I'll tell you, I drop this thing like all the time when I'm playing with it because I like to fly it around. See, there's the Oracle, and Nam's got the Oracle one, and it's pretty badass. So I love these models. They're the best. Mixeddimensions.com. Check those out. They are pretty damn cool. And I mean, it takes a little while to get them here. The company's based in Jordan. And they fulfill the stuff, as it come in. So when you order it, they're making it for you. So it's almost custom, but it comes in a cool box and it's just really cool. So I really like those. I think they're great.
Yeah, you can't really tell just looking at the pictures, but like they have some heft to them. They are high.
They are heavy, yeah.
Models.
Absolutely. It's not like the little Rifter, that CCP put out with the USBs in it. This thing's pretty heavy. So
my only question is the ships that they initially chose for the first round don't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Well,
the only one that makes sense there is the Rifter.
Yeah,
the Rifter is like iconic, so I can understand why they did that. I think some of these, it was just this is the easiest ones that they could get the 3D models to make it look good. But I want a Roke, I want a Raven, obviously. I'd like to get bigger ones that are Titan size or something like that at some point. Hopefully, the more that people buy these, the better that they are. The website is mixeddimensions.com. Let me get you a link, and I will get you a link while Mind1 is telling us about his stream because he's going to show his stream, right? So go for it.
Let me get an Ishtar and a Megatron on that. I don't know who we need to talk to make that happen.
Yeah,
but that's what's going to happen. Those are the best ships in the game, by the way.
I just ordered the Rifter, by the way.
Nice. Yeah, so my product is I get to shamelessly plug myself. Most of you guys know I am Karma Fleet's official DJ. So if you guys are looking for music and tunes, we do music streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And if you are looking for some top-notch, high-caliber high skill, grade A gameplay, then you better watch someone else, because that's not going to happen on my stream. But if you want to come in and have a good time doing other things, we play games. I play Eve sometimes, and we do that throughout the rest of the week. But that's it. That's my plug. It's twitch.tv/Mind1.
That's good. All right. So this is a Fireside edition. We're just kind of chilling out. There's one last thing I want to show you guys because it's kind of funny. My wife's going to yell at me for doing this, but I don't care. 2020 is a fucked up year. A lot of fucked up things have happened in 2020. We've had the global pandemic. We had wildfires. We've had no baseball. We have a giant war that Test is starting. Who would have thought that? And I thought I didn't think this year could get any. I mean, hell, I even got it reelected to CSM. It's a weird year. I can't put into words how surprised I was to find what I found this morning when I went outside into my backyard. So I have some pictures here because I think it's funny. So we have a lot of trees in my backyard. It's a nice backyard. It's pretty big. The dog likes to go out there. We had a dead tree when we moved in 5 or 6 years ago. We had it cut down. So there's a big giant stump out there. And I like to stand on the stump because then I can make jokes about, hey, I'm a politician on the stump. Because that's what we say when we're giving speeches. But the stump is starting to degrade, and it's got a lot of like fungus and stuff growing out of it. So this morning I go out there and my wife says, you need to come over here and see this. I said, okay. So I walk over and this is what I saw growing out of the stump. Yeah. So it's 2020 and tree stumps are growing genitalia. It kind of freaks me out. And here's a closer picture of it. I mean, look at this. This is just, I couldn't believe that this was out there.
Is this allowed on Twitch?
I don't know. It's a mushroom. It's a fungus. It's even got a little friend at the bottom, like a little guy, like coming out next to it.
That's the tickler.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but I mean, this gives all new meaning to the phrase mushroom stamp. You know, but
is it bad that I'm kind of jealous of this tree stump right now?
I mean, it's freaking me out. Like this stump, it's it. And just to prove, and just so you guys, because I know there are going to be some conspiracy assholes out there saying this didn't happen. Brisk found these pictures on the internet. This is all bullshit. Nope, that's totally legit. It's me. This is my backyard. There it is. There you go. So that was it. The meta show ends on the penis fungus tree stump joke. We've had fun today. We had some crazy stuff going on. You know, I'll throw the old screen up. It says hopefully it works if I do it this time. It did. We're back in the This Is Fine edition. I got nothing else. So you guys got anything? Any parting words before we get out of here and try to forget that this ever happened?
Thank you for asking. First and foremost, don't ever put the pictures on front of my portrait on the stream. Try to find like another side of the window.
So I know
that part really bothers me. Second of all, I noticed at the beginning the graphics said Mitani and Brisker Ball. I'm not the Mitani. I'd like that to be corrected if I'm ever coming back.
All right, okay, all right. I got that too. All right.
Third, when we simultaneously lose the objective, the ISK war, and the fleet that we're camping in, let's just not spin that. That was a shitty night. It is what it is. These things happen, right? I mean, it sort of is what it is. We'll take that one on the chin. We'll learn from it. We'll do better next time, or at least we'll try. Thank you so much for having me. I felt like we had a bunch of people join us that were not members of the Imperium today. Most of them talking shit like chumps in chat, but hey, we're happy to have you clusterfuck idiots here anyway, so we do appreciate it. It was a fun show. I do totally agree.
Nah.
Good time. Always fun to come on the show.
We appreciate having you. Mind1, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no problem, man.
You're like the professional. I feel like a schmuck whenever we stream with you because you're so much better at it than we are.
It's all smoke and mirrors, buddy. Smoke and mirrors.
You like it. All right, everybody. Thank you all. This was the Meta Show. This was our Fireside. This is Fine edition for the second week of World War B. I'm Brisker Ball. I'm joined by Merkelchen, Innominate, and Mind1. Pinecones Delenda Est. And you stay classy, Nui.